Court's order on Umar Khalid's denial of bail, the Supreme Court says that the accusations on Umar appear prima facie true. We just broke down the details as well for you. The court saying there's enough evidence against the duo, the evidence of this conspiracy as far as the Delhi Riots case is concerned. Let's go across to my colleagues. We have Harish Nair, our legal editor, and Siddharth joining us from the news pit. Let me first, in fact, go across to Siddharth. He has the order copy, I believe.
Yes, Swati, it's a very detailed order on the part of the Supreme Court. It's almost 142 pages, and it goes into the specifics of the allegations leveled by the prosecution against all the accused in this matter and breaks down those allegations and also offers counters wherever some of those claims that have been made either by the prosecution or the defense have not stood judicial scrutiny. But let me speak specifically now about Sharjeel Imam as well as Umar Khalid, who are the alleged prime conspirators in this particular matter, and what the court has had to say about them when denying their application for bail. Here's what the court has said on para 130. It says this court is satisfied that the prosecution material taken at face value as required at this stage discloses, this is very important, a prima facie attribution of a central and formative role by the appellants in appeals arising of special leave petition pertaining to Umar Khalid and Sharjeel Imam in the alleged conspiracy. The material suggests involvement at the level of planning, mobilization and strategic direction, extending beyond episodic or localized acts. The statutory threshold under Section 43D5 of the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967 therefore stands attracted qua these applicants. This section basically pertains to treating applications for bail when it comes to the national security of the state being impacted to be treated differently. That's the operative point here. The court then goes on to say, while the period of incarceration undergone by these appellants is substantial and has been duly considered, the court is not persuaded that on present record continued detention has crossed the threshold of constitutional impermissibility, countering the claims made by Imam as well as Umar Khalid that they've been in jail for far too long and that should be considered a grounds for bail. That argument has been rejected by the court.
All right, Siddharth, thank you for getting us the details. I want to quickly go across to Harish, who continues to be with us. A very important point that highlighted by Siddharth as far as bail being denied is concerned. The involvement at the level of planning, mobilization, strategic direction, extending beyond episodic or localized acts is a very, very important point highlighted in the order copy. Remember the court saying that there's enough evidence against the duo as far as conspiracy is concerned.
Yes, that's right, Swati. This 142-page judgment explaining why there has been a categorization. There were 7 accused and why only Umar Khalid and Sharjeel Imam has been denied bail, while the other 5 had been granted bail. So Supreme Court very clearly saying that prosecution has submitted enough evidence to prima facie prove the charges against them of anti-national activities and preconceived, planned and predetermined unlawful activity to, which endangered India's unity, integrity and security. And there is one paragraph, Swati, which explains the right to personal liberty, but says UAPA is a special statute, so there is a distinct bail regime. So and therefore it says the right to personal liberty enshrined in Article 21 is of seminal importance, and prolonged pre-trial incarceration is a matter of, yes, serious constitutional concern. Right. At the same time, where Parliament has, in the context of a special statute, conditioned the grant of bail upon satisfaction of a defined statutory threshold, a constitutional court cannot treat such restraint as avoidable. Right. So, a legislative judgment that offences alleged to be implicate security of the state warrant a distinct bail regime. Right. So, the Supreme Court here clearly says that this the distinct bail regime is permitted in an offence with, where the state's security, safety, all right. Unity...
Harish, stay on with us. Siddharth wants to highlight one other point from the order copy. Yes, Siddharth.
Follow up on what Harish said, because he was emphasizing how the bail conditions are different when it comes to alleged crimes under the UAPA. Here's what the court has had to say in para 427 as well about implications for national security and why the court cannot turn a blind eye. Here's what the court said. The court cannot proceed on any consideration except restricting the contours of inquiry confining to law, where Parliament has prescribed a distinct statutory threshold for the grant of bail, and where the prosecution places prima facie material suggesting organized and deliberate activity affecting public order and security of the nation, the court cannot turn a Nelson's eye to such material merely because incarceration is prolonged or liberty is invoked in the abstract. So this was the argument that was actually being put forward by the lawyers representing both Sharjeel Imam as well as Umar Khalid, that they've been incarcerated for far too long, and that should be sufficient grounds to provide them some element of liberty. The court has rejected that point outright.
All right, Siddharth and Harish, thank you very much for highlighting the important points of the order copy. Let's take a look at the political reactions coming in. Let's listen into how the Congress and the BJP leaders are responding to this development.
जमानत मिलनी चाहिए थी और अनफॉर्चुनेट, और 5 साल हो गया क्या पुलिस का इन्वेस्टिगेशन पूरा ही नहीं हुआ कि दिल्ली दंगा के असली साजिशकर्ता आज तक पकड़े नहीं गए। और यह सत्य बात है कि बाहर से लोग आए थे, वो कौन लोग थे उस पर तो पुलिस ने कोई काम नहीं किया, सरकार ने कोई काम नहीं किया। निशाना इनको बनाया है उमर खालिद, शर्जील इमाम। और बात सच है कि कम्युनल एंगल से सरकार ने काम किया है।
माननीय कोर्ट द्वारा जो दिल्ली दंगों के आरोपी शर्जील